Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It is Tuesday and it's time for our weekly recap of Greenleaf. This is season 5, episode 4, and it was titled The Fourth Day. Alright, so this episode, y'all, I'm gonna get to it because I'm just trying to figure out what we're gonna talk about it when I get there. Alright, so it opens up with Grace and Noah. They're in the hospital room. AJ is somewhere, child. I don't know where he's at. Maybe he's in the bathroom getting dressed or whatever like that. They are talking to Noah, and Grace are talking to the doctor, and the doctor is suggesting that AJ go to a facility where he can get help for his suicidal ideations, his suicidal attempts, his HIV, stuff like that. And Grace is like, but you said that family was the best shot that he had or whatever. And she's like, yeah, I know all that, but I'm just suggesting this. I'm just doing my job basically and letting you know what the options are or whatever. Of course, Grace want him to come home with her and all that other good stuff. Noah is just standing there listening and whatever. AJ comes in there and he's all dressed and stuff, his wrist all bandaged up and everything. And he's like, what did he say? He was like, I feel like a voodoo doll from everybody poking me, but now y'all just standing around looking at me and stuff. So now I'm kind of freaking out. What's going on? So the doctor was like, well, these are your options and whatnot. And Grace, I don't know if she was trying to touch him or something because he looked like he moved. And she was just like, well, I just want you to come home with us, And he was like, but the doctor was like, it's up to you or whatever. And I think Grace said it too. But then he said, okay, I know it's up to me and I want to go home with him. Noah like, huh? Whoa. Why do Noah be looking so dumb? Whatever. So he was just like, he gonna go home with her. Grace looked like she was fitting to cry, child. I was like, damn, Grace, that's his dad. Like, let him get to know his father too. Like, you're not his only parent or whatever. I just don't understand what her issue is. Next we see Bishop. He fussing at Jacob. Why would you think, or what would make you think that I was capable of murder? I know, like, I ain't think you was capable of murder, Dad, or whatever. Well, why would you even go there? Why you wouldn't come to me? Cause look how you acting. So Bishop going off. He like, I don't understand. Like the will, was made out to the house is ours or whatever. And, Jacob is like, I just went to her because I wanted her to know what was going on. Like, she not like her brother or her sister or whatever. He was like, I just wanted to get to the truth and get it back at Carissa or whatever like that. May like, what in the world? Like, what is wrong with you boys? She like, yeah, you keep calling this lady a saint and everything like that because you went down there and saw what she was doing and everything like that, and you acting like she the next Mother Teresa and all this other stuff. So she like, but she was like, you just did put your, basically you just stepped in it basically. And he was like, look, I'm trying to tell you, like, she not like them or whatever. And she like, but you planted, because he was like, I didn't even say nothing about the wills and stuff. And she was like, but you planted the seed, and then she gonna go looking into stuff, which is true. I'm like, why wouldn't he just go to Bishop and ask him the first thing? Why would he even involve James or whatever into the mix? As soon as you say, well, as soon as you start asking questions and all this other stuff, they gonna think like, what's up? And then he asked about the lady. What was her name? Betty, James, whatever that lady name was. Deborah? I don't know what the lady name was. But Miss James, when he asked about her, you saw her light bulb was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, tell me what's going on. So then you piquing her interest or whatever. So May was right. She just laid it into him and was like, you done made everything worse than what it needed to be or whatever. And he was like, they said something about this is Basie's and Rochelle's sister. Like, what do you expect? And he like, no, he's still taking up for her and whatnot like that. And she basically was like, she don't trust Clarissa. May was like, she don't trust Jacob, she don't trust Clarissa, she don't trust none of them. What she say? She was some wicked witch in the head wrap or some shit. She said she told Jacob to go. I can't even look at you. I can't pet no dog who licks off my plate or something. I was just like, May was giving it to him. Okay. Then next she asked Bishop, because he's still fuming and stuff like that. She asked Bishop like, what do you want to do about tomorrow? You want to go to Calvary and whatever. He was like, huh? What you talking about? She was like, Calvary, it's gonna be the last day they're gonna be open or whatever. And he was like, not tomorrow, Sunday or whatever. And she was like, don't you remember? He was like, yeah, I remember. I pushed it out my head. I'm not going to that. I'm not going to that. We could do something here. We could have service here or whatever like that. And she was like, all right, because it's not the time to stop praying to God or something. She said. Then she was like, so then she had like started storming off. He was like, well, where you going? She was like, I'm about to kill Clarissa. So I said, I know that's right. Then we see at the church, they had like a little meeting, Phil, Charity, and Skeletor. They had like a little meeting and stuff like that. And they was talking about the meeting was dismissed and stuff like that. So they talk about the last service on Sunday, what they gonna do. And Judy want to do, or Skeletor, I'm calling her Skeletor because she creeps me out, like legit creeps me out. Does she look like this in real life? Because she is really creeping me out. I don't like her. So she was saying like they want to have like a PowerPoint slide or whatever showing the new building layout or whatever with like some music and stuff. And Charity was like, no, maybe we should do a PowerPoint of the past or whatever. So they going back and forth. And here goes Skeletor talking about some, while we do the past where your uncle was a child molester, where your daddy got shot. And she said something else. I said, oh shit. Skeletor better watch out. Charity should have popped her like one time, pop, and then left. But no, she didn't. So she called her some rusty old crank with a quarter. You drop a quarter in her or something like that. And she was trying to figure out why Phil was with her, but she already know why Phil was with her, because Phil wants to be the pastor or the head of the church more than he wants to have his integrity and all that other stuff. So she already know what's going on with that. But so I don't even understand why she even said that out loud. But whatever. They gonna go with Judy's idea, Skeletor's idea, whatever like that. And Grace the whole time was standing there watching them go at them double team Charity and like overrule her or whatever. Because Charity was still trying to like hold her own, but she really wasn't doing nothing. And Phil was just like, well, we're gonna go with Skeletor's idea, and then he kind of walked out. So then Charity looked over and she saw Grace. She was like, oh, you saw all that? She was like, yeah, I saw all that, but I got a plan, follow me or whatever. So then she takes Charity into Charity's office, and she was like, is his mama such and such and such? And she was like, yeah, but she did or whatever. And she was like, yeah, but me and Darius found a way to get H&H out. Are you down? Charity looking like all crazy, like, right? So then they was like, well, what did his mom do for Bob or whatever? Because she was like, his name is on everything. And Charity was like, well, I don't know what. And she was like, well, they fired Darius. She was like, what? They got connections in the newsroom or whatever? She was like, yeah, because he's trying to run for Senate. He's trying to keep everything under wraps. He don't want stuff to be known and yada, yada, yada. So she was like, what did she say? She said something, and then Charity made like some weird face. She was like, what do you know? She was like, I don't know anything. She was like, who is his father? Like, do you know his daddy and stuff like that? And she was just like, I don't want to get into it or whatever. She was like, you need to tell us. Like, she was like, no, but I'm already AP. I already got my position. I'm like, girl, what? And even Grace was like, the way they talking to you, that's what you want? Like, you not really running nothing or whatever. But Charity had got it in her head, like, she about to run, she about to take over, she about to outmatch and all this other stuff. And I'm like, girl, you don't have the upper hand in nothing. Like, what do you think you're doing or whatever? But at any rate, she finally said, because I think Grace had said the dad's name, and she was like, well, you can't find him because he doesn't exist or whatever. And she was like, what you talking about? She was like, well, he was a Black Panther and he had to change his name, and now his name is Yusuf Shabazz, and he lives in New Orleans or whatever. And so Grace was like, she was like, because I know that because Phil doesn't like jazz music or whatever like that. And Grace was like, oh, thank you, I understand. Thank you. And then she left out. So then we see May. She go to see Clarissa, child. She like, where's my grandbaby? Is my grandbaby around? She was like, no, but I have a meeting with Dante, and I don't got time for your stuff, May. She was like, oh, well, I want you to get up out of here. Okay, you got to go. And she was just like, what? she was just like, she was, what? Why? She was like, because you didn't cause all this havoc and all this other stuff. And why would you even do this and stuff? So Clarissa was like, well, it's between me and Jacob and stuff. So May was like, okay, well, you could tell Jacob that I told you to get the hell up out of here. So y'all can talk about that amongst yourselves. And then when May turned to leave, that's when Clarissa, because you know she can't hold water for shit, she was like, I had an affair and Jacob wants a divorce. I didn't even want no divorce, or whatever. I was just trying to get back at him with the will papers and everything like that. I didn't to hold it against him so he wouldn't go through with the divorce or whatever like that. And so May sat down. She was like, Clarissa was like, after everything he did to me, cheating on the maid, cheating with the white chick, cheating with Tasha, and I cheated one time and he can't forgive me or nothing like that. And so May was like, what, the maid? Who? She was like, yeah, in the laundry room of all places. She was like, oh my God. So she was just like, well, I'll go talk to him or whatever like that. So May, because Clarissa was like, well, if you convince your son to stay with me, then it's good, but if he want to play rough, game on or whatever. So May was like, I got it. So next we see Aaron. Aaron was basically saying that the house belongs to Bishop and them. But looking at the paperwork, what did he say? He said the paperwork says that the house belongs to y'all, but people wouldn't even look at it at the paperwork. They wouldn't look at the paperwork. They would look at it more so like the man, Daryl James, got killed in the fire. Now y'all, and then the original will, and then the second will, and now y'all owning the house. They would look at it like that because Mac is dead. Basie did, Daryl did, like everybody did. Nobody can corroborate the story other than Bishop, and Bishop losing his freaking memory. So child, so he was just like, so what do you expect us to do and stuff? And he was like, I expect you to make peace or whatever. So he was like, oh, okay. And so that's when May was walking in. Was May walking in at that time? Yeah, May was walking in. And was she walking in at the time? Yeah, I think she was. I'm sorry, y'all, because I stopped. Yeah, because I'm trying to read my notes. May had walked in, and that's when Bishop was like, you hear Aaron? And so she was like, yes, I heard what he said. Jacob, can I talk to you? And he was like, oh, okay. And so Bishop was saying something like he got the power, he gonna do this, he gonna make things right, and yada yada yada. And May was like, famous last words or whatever. So Bishop gonna go talk to Tara or whatever. And I'm like, why is you even talking to this girl? Yeah, maybe she might got her suspicions, but she at this point don't know nothing. Like, she don't know nothing at all other than Jacob trying to figure out who called Daryl down there to the church and whatever. But she don't know nothing. So why was Bishop going to... Child, anyway. What happened, child? Oh, Jacob took some paperwork from Aaron or something like that, and he was like, aren't you glad you're not part of the family? And Aaron was like, yeah, I'm glad I could help you. I was like, he probably want to be like, so about that, I'm Grace's half sister, but he ain't say nothing like that. Next we see Grace. She found the dad. So she found Yusuf, Phil's dad or whatever. She found him. So she called him up, and he like, hello. And she was like, is this Yusuf Shabazz or whatever? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to continue talking to you because you pronounced my name right or whatever. And so she goes to tell him like who she is, and he was like, oh, okay, that's strike one. And so, because she said she was a pastor or whatever, he was like, okay, that's strike one. And then she asked about his wife. He was like, yeah, but she was my ex-wife. She's been dead for 20 years. That's strike two. And then she was like, okay, and then your son, Phil, whatever. And he was like, oh, okay, that's strike three. Click him, and he hung up on her. I said, girl, now you know this man is estranged from his damn son and all this other stuff. You know he obviously don't like nothing to do with the church or whatever. So why would you bring up things that... Grace, do better. Do better. Jacob went in the room with May or whatever like that. Jacob wanted to talk about Aaron, and May like, well, we'll discuss that later or whatever. She was like, just close the door. We'll talk about that in a minute. And so she started quoting like Bible scriptures about forgiveness and stuff. And he was like, okay, that's such and such. That's Matthew 9. Like, he was reading them off. And then she got to thou cast the first stone or whatever. And he was just like, huh? She was like, of course you wouldn't know that. That's Matthew. Like, she was rolling it down. And so she was like, you need to do the right thing and you need to go in there and apologize to Clarissa or whatever. And he kept saying, so you know what she did? And he was like, yes. She was like, I know what she did or whatever. And he was like, and you want me to apologize? Like, what are you talking about? And so he was like, something like, I can't, why would I apologize to her? It's not going to do nothing. It's not going to solve the problem with Tara or nothing like that. And she was like, this ain't even about Tara right now. This is about how you view women and how you view me or whatever. And he was like, but you would never cheat or nothing like that. And she was like, what if I did? What if I didn't? That's not the point. You need to go in there and you need to ask for her forgiveness. You need to forgive her. That's what you need to do. And he was just like, yes, ma'am. And then he left out the room or whatever. Child, we see Charity in the church. Connie walking past or whatever, her little uppity self. So Connie walking past, and she was like, oh, Connie, can I talk to you for a second? She was like, yeah. She was like, well, you know, we doing this, the Sunday thing, and she was saying something like we doing like I can't remember what she said. Something, you know, like the farewell type thing or whatever like that. And she was like, oh, yeah, And she was like, well, did you talk to Skeletor and Phil? And she was like, yeah, I did talk to them. And she was like, and what did they say? She was like, they said no, you know. She was like, well, I'm saying the same thing. No. I couldn't think of anything worse. I said, see, that's what they get for hiring her ass back. They should just let her be at home on her own accord. But y'all put Connie up in here, and Connie thinks she all high and mighty, and child, that Connie, I said, well, damn. Next we see Bishop. He visiting Tara. And child, I was like, was the neighborhood that rough the first time around? Maybe I ain't paid that close attention, but that was a rough neighborhood that church was in. But praise God, like they need somewhere to pray too. So at any rate, he go in there and he was like, Lord be with us or whatever. He go in there and she was like, what, Bishop Greenleaf? This is the second time I've been blessed with a Greenleaf in my presence or whatever. I'm starting to feel special and stuff. And he said, she was like, what are you doing here? He was like, he want to set everything straight. At home, we see AJ. He at home, he got like a little attitude or whatever like that. He doing AJ type shit. He going up the steps and stuff and to get his things. And then Grace talks to Noah and was whispering to him like, well, he needs to talk to this doctor and stuff like that. He needs care. AJ with his little attitude, I told you not to talk about it no more. This is why I want to talk about it and stuff like that. I told you just to leave it alone. Boy, go up the steps and get your stuff and shut up. Just shut up. Like, you shut up. Oh, he irritates. So he going up the steps, and then Grace was just like, whatever. And so she whispering back to Noah and stuff about the care and stuff. And Noah's like, I got it. I understand. So, because he's not asymptomatic. So, apparently he's having some symptoms and stuff like that. So, they got to get him on a regimen quick. Otherwise, you know, he can get sick and die and all that other stuff. So, they got to get him on a regimen quick. So, that's what Grace was whispering to Noah. May come downstairs. She was like, Noah, would you like to have some tea with me? And he was like, of course. And he was just like, Grace, I got it. So, then he go off with May to get some tea. Then we see Bishop. Bishop in there talking to Sarah. He telling her, like, I didn't call your father down there. It wasn't me. It must have been Mac. And, because I was the first one to ask, like, why was he even there? And all this other stuff. He just telling her, like, I didn't do it. Nothing like that. She was like, well, why would he do that? And she was just like, he was like, well, I don't know. Or whatever. Then he goes to tell this girl that Daryl left the house. And Miss Davis left the house to Daryl James, her daddy or whatever like that. I'm like, why would you say that? Why would you say that, Bishop? Even she asked, she was like, well, why are you telling me this? He was like, because I want to make peace. I want to set everything straight. I want us to like have a clear slate. I want us to, be, together, build a convent and all this other stuff. And she was saying like, she don't believe in riches and all this other whatever. And she was saying like she was upset because her father woke up in that hell and then he couldn't escape, basically. So she upset, rightfully so, that her father died in the fire. That is one hell of a way to go, like, for real. So she's upset about that. But he's like, I understand and I'm sorry for that and all the other stuff, but you know, it wasn't me, yada yada yada. And how can we get past this once and for all? Then we go to something else. Child, here comes Skeletor in Charity's office. Did you talk to Connie? And she was just like, yeah. Oh, well, you're fired. I was just like, you gonna fire her because she talked to Connie? You know how long she known Connie? But whatever. So she was like, well, you can't be second guessing everything that we do or whatever. And she was just like, well, you can't fire me. Like, what are you talking about? She was like, well, I can, because no one's higher in here than God. No, what she say? No one's in here higher than me than God or whatever. And then she walked out. I said, oh God, she just looks ugh. Then we see Charity with her little dress on. She going to Phil's office and she was like, you know, she fired me or whatever. He was like, yeah, I know, she talked to me or whatever. And she was like, so you going to allow her to do that? He was like, well, what you did was unproductive. We can't have you going behind our backs and, you know, switching up stuff. We need to make sure that you is you good with everything. Like, you truly, madly, deeply on board. And she was like, what? And he was like, she was like, no, he was like, that's not Connie, Skeletor's favorite movie or whatever like that. And she was like, well, you know what my favorite movie is? You can't fire me because my black ass quits or whatever. And he was like, look. She's not going to press it. So he was basically asking her to stay. And she was like, no. You go ahead and press your face in her little ass titties. I said, what? So she said, because you'll never see these again, nor this. And she spun around. I said, what? We in the church. Okay. So then she was saying, like, they gonna have some crazy Oreo church and the church not gonna make it past Tuesday. So she's spilling the beans. I said, oh my God, Charity, shut the fuck up. So and she was saying, like, you gonna hear from my lawyer. And then she got so upset and like emotional because she was like, I expected more from you. I didn't expect you to be like this. Like, the person I fell in love with is not you right now. I can't even hate you or dislike you because you nothing but a sponge right now. Like, you is just nothing. And then she spun around and left out the building and stuff. Then we see Grace, she walking near the lake or whatever. And then we see Bishop pull up. He all chipper and happy like he done did some shit, child. He like, well, I got all the barbecue and we gonna have a good old feast and stuff. Get in the car and whatnot. And she was like, wow, I'll be there in a little bit. He was like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? She was telling him how AJ is moving in with Noah and stuff. And he was like, don't worry about that. Don't worry. She was like, well, what do you know I'm worried about? He was like, well, look. You worry that you feel broken, like you because you gave him up and you can't repair something like that. You can't repair the relationship or something. And he was just like, look, that's his dad. Like, he needs to be in his life too. Like, he needs to know that of a parent besides you. So it's gonna be okay. Like, you left, what do you say? You left 20 years ago and you came back. That's a miracle or whatever. And she was like, yeah. He was like, remember that. So just meet me up at the house or whatever. So she was like, okay, I'll be up there and whatnot. So then we see Jacob. He's in the room with Clarissa or whatever. And he was asking him, he was asking her, like, how things went with Dante. And she was like, things went fine and stuff. And then she was like, yeah, your mom came up here to see me too. And he was like, yeah, I know, she told me. And so she was like, you have anything to say? He was silent to the lambs, just like that, y'all. He ain't say nothing. And she was like, okay, so I understand it's going to be hard for you, but just say, Clarissa, I'm sorry that I put you through all these things, that you had to defile your body and sleep with somebody else to make you feel something, anything or whatever, because I slept with this person, that person, that person. I forgive you. I'm sorry. He was just like, I said, oh, okay, he mute. He real mute. She was like, oh, okay. And so she went over there to her little clothes and stuff like that. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to lay off the wheel. But you know that May, because May agrees with me, I was hoping you would do the right thing. And I know she would do the right thing. But us, oh, we done. And he was like, I know. I said, oh, he got his voice back. Oh, okay, he can talk. Okay, God bless. So, but she went in the bathroom. He was just standing there looking stupid as hell. Then we see AJ. He like got his stuff. He trying to leave. Zora and Sophia. I'm about to call her child Simone. Sophia was just like, you can't leave. You got to stay and stuff. They was like joking and playing with him and stuff. He thanked them. And then Grace walked in and she was like, well, can we have like a little minute? And they was like, yeah, but he's staying and stuff. And he was like, no, I'm not staying. They just playing. She was like, I know. And so she was just sitting there looking weird because I guess she ain't know what to say. So she was like, you got everything that you need? And he was like, yeah, I got everything I need. And she was like, you know, you could always come back. And he was like, I know. And he thanked her because they did like some little cute little shoulder thing, and he bumped her little shoulder and stuff like that. So it was like he was kind of forgiving her or whatever like that. And then he got up to like go out the door, but then he doubled back and gave her a kiss on her on the top of her head and gave her like a little hug or whatever. So that made her feel good because she started smiling and stuff. Then we see Skeletor and Phil, they talking. And she was just saying like it was for the best that they fired Charity and stuff because her what he was saying, she was saying something like you need to save all your energy for what's to come and all this other stuff. And he was like, yeah, maybe it was for the best because it's something that she said. And she was like, well, what did she say? And he was like, well, she was saying like the demolition won't make it past Tuesday or something. It's like she got something in the works or whatever. And she was like, well, you know, maybe she just blowing off steam and stuff like that, so don't even worry about it. Child, Skeletor was trying to slob on this man knob, and he was like, no. And she was like, well, is it because I'm still legally married to Ken? Like, you know, I don't want him. Like, when are you gonna give it to me? Like, when are you like, she was begging for the D, okay, like begging. And he was like, no, bitch, no. So she got mad. She got mad and stormed her little skinny ass upstairs. I said, oh, good. You ain't getting that man good chocolate in it. Like, not today. Anyway, next we at the house, child. Bishop, like, everything. He's trying to convince May that everything good. May, like, I don't got a good feeling about this. Something in my spirit, it don't feel like everything is right. He was like, don't worry about it. Like, we cried, we prayed, like the session was so good. I felt like I was about to speak in tongues and stuff. And she was like, okay, well, if you say so, but I don't got a good feeling about this. But he was like, it's all right, May, it's all right. And he like, you know what, I'm gonna get some ginger ale, a nice cold ginger ale, because I like ginger ale, and I always be talking about I'm gonna get a ginger ale, but I don't ever get up and get the ginger ale, so I'm gonna get the ginger ale. I said, what, Bishop? So he go. Then we see Jacob. He coming downstairs. May asking him what happened with Clarissa. He was just like, he couldn't do it. And she was just like, And he was like, he couldn't do it because he didn't want to be in a marriage with Clarissa. Okay, granted, you don't want to be in a relationship with her no more. But like deep down inside, I really do feel like he owes her an apology and stuff like that, because he did cheat on her. She owes him an apology too because she cheated on him as well. But two wrongs don't make a goddamn right. Like, y'all both cheated, y'all both need to apologize and move y'all separate ways because y'all gonna get divorced anyway. But he did, I think he owed her an apology. But at any rate, what happened? So then Bishop, he come back in. No, he ain't come back in yet. Shoot, May was like, your dad, he said he did something. He's very proud of himself. He said he did something or whatever like that. She was saying, like, take a look at AJ and Grace. Don't step out of Winky's life. Like, be a father in Winky's life and stuff like that. Like, be present. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So then Charity walks in. Charity was talking about she free at last, because Bishop came back and was like, we gonna have service here at the house and stuff. And she was like, okay, well, I'm down with that, because I am free at last and stuff. I was like, okay, girl. So then, well, she said something about he could keep, what's that man name? Phil could keep the sour cream puff or whatever the hell she said. They talked about AJ and Noah and stuff. Then Clarissa came downstairs all stank. And then Bishop wanted to talk about church at the house again. And then his phone ringing. Child, his phone must have rung 20 times. I said, who phone ring that long without going to the goddamn voicemail? He ain't got no voicemail set up. And then he kept looking at the phone. That's Tara. Answer the phone. So they was like, answer the phone, Bishop, answer the phone. So then he finally answers their phone. He talking over there. Jacob or somebody was like, Dad, what's going on? And he was like, huh? What? And they was like, what's going on? She was like, just tell us. May was like, just tell us, Bishop, just tell us. And he said, Tara wants to talk about the house again. I said, Lord, here we go. See, you should have never brought up the goddamn house. And that's when it went off. I was like, see, why would he even tell her about the house? This girl ain't know nothing about the house. We still don't even know who the hell she had called when Jacob and Tasha had left. Like, Bishop should just kept his damn mouth closed until she came to them and said something. Otherwise, he ain't need to say nothing. What y'all think, y'all? Y'all think he did good by going to her and telling her about the house and all this other stuff? Because this finna be a doozy. Because I'm sure she gonna want to get that house back to make it a church or a sanctuary for homeless or something like that, because that's like in her spirit and she want to get back and whatnot. So I don't think she gonna live in the house to be like, oh, I'm rich and stuff like that. I think she gonna try to get the house back to make it into something else or whatever. Maybe that's why she reconsidering or whatever, or whoever she was talking to, Rochelle or Basie. I kept calling that man Macy, but Rochelle or Basie, if she was talking to them two, then Lord only knows what, child. So, because we still don't know who the hell she was talking to. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about that, about the episode tonight. And if you like this review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, but you are watching my review, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified for when I drop new videos. All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace.